Hey YouTube, CoffeeDude65 here. It's not the video I was going to do, but I came across this article and I'm sure maybe some other people have seen it too. Very, very disturbing. This is from CNN. I'll put the link. Let's see here. There you go. I'll put the link up, but it's here, people. And I don't want to be an alarmist, but this is insanity. Complete insanity. Federal ID plan raises privacy concerns is the story. Alright, I'm just going to read this to you because I haven't really digested it. I've read it, but Americans may need passports to board domestic flights or to picnic in a national park next year if they live in one of the states defying the federal Real ID Act. The act was signed in 2005 as part of emergency military spending and tsunami relief bill, aims to weave driver's license and state ID cards into some sort of national identification system by May 2008. The law sets baseline criteria for how driver license will be issued and what information they must contain. The Department of Homeland Security insists Real ID is an essential weapon in the war on terror, but privacy and civil liberties watchdogs are calling the initiative overly intrusive that smacks of Big Brother. Several states have begun making arrangements for the new requirements. 4 have passed legislation applauding the measure, but even they may have trouble meeting the act's deadline. The cards would be mandatory for all federal purposes, which include boarding an airplane or walking into a federal building, nuclear facility, or national park. Chertoff says citizens in states that don't comply with the new rules will have to use passports for federal purposes. So, to go to a national park, you're going to have a national ID to get in the thing. I was going to do part 2 on the anarchy thing, and I recorded it, but it's kind of null and void now, because I went into all this wonderful idyllic speech about, how things are good about the government, including the national park system. But then I read this, and you're going to have an ID to go into a national park. Get real. Come on. This is just crazy. This thing goes on. I don't want to read it all. There's not enough time, but here's another thing. The Real ID Act repealed a provision in the 911 Commission Implementation Act calling for state and federal officials to examine security standards for a driver's license. It called instead for states to begin issuing new federal license lasting no longer than 8 years by May 11th, 2008, unless they are granted an extension. Also requires all 245 million license and state ID holders to visit their local departments of motor vehicles and apply for a Real ID by 2013. Applicants must bring a photo ID, birth certificate, proof of social security number, proof of residence, and states must maintain and protect massive databases housing the information. Okay, the ACLU is all over this. Thank God, or Buddha, or whatever you want to think. Here's another thing. This is not a mandate, Chertoff says. A state does not have to do this, but if the state doesn't have at the end of the day, at the deadline, Real ID licenses, the state cannot expect those licenses will be accepted for federal purposes. So if you don't conform, you're out of luck. You're either going to need a passport or one of these national ID cards. Okay, so national ID cards, what's the next step? Verichip. It's another case of using the ghost of terrorism to whip us into fear and to take our liberties away. I just can't see it. I just can't see it. I have a social card, I have a driver's license, I have all that crap, So why do I need a national ID that goes into a state database? You know, I mean, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but I don't think so. I mean, it's just a calculated effort to get us all in a database and to put their thumbs on us. And being denied access to a federal park unless I either have a passport, which you can't even get a passport now. The passport system is so screwed up. It's taking months, years to get passports. It's just all screwed up. Or I have to have one of these national ID cards to go to the national park and enjoy that park. Insane. This article also talks about NCSL, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm trying to find it here. Anyway, Heritage Foundation. No, that's not it. Anyway, Bill Wyatt said the requirements are almost physically impossible. States would have to build new facilities, secure those facilities, and shell out additional equipment and personnel. Costs are going to fall back on the American taxpayer. Might be the form of new transportation, motor vehicle, gasoline tax. Might find it tacked onto your next state bill. In Texas, Wyatt said one official told him that without federal funding, the Longhorn state might have to charge its citizens more than $100 per license. Many states have revolted. Idaho, Maine, Montana, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Washington have signed bills refusing to comply with the act. 6 others have passed bills or resolutions expressing opposition, and 15 have similar legislation pending. But then again, we go back to what it says. It's not a mandate. You don't have to do this, but at the end of the day, the state cannot expect that those licenses will be accepted for federal purposes. So we're going to be non-entities. We're not any longer going to be part of the system, part of the American experience. We're not going to be able to go to a park. Yellowstone, name a park. Small ones around the country. We're not going to be able to go unless we have these IDs. You know, I just really think it smacks of Big Brother. I think it's just another ploy, and it was passed in 2005. That's signed in 2005. Emergency Military Spending and Tsunami Relief Bill. Slipped that one by us, didn't they? 2008, May, just around the corner, guys. Anyway, that's that for now. Maybe I'm being an alarmist. I hope not. Well, I hope I am being an alarmist. I hope I'm wrong. You know, but it really doesn't sound very positive. Talk to you guys later. Peace.